The clock running. 4, 3, 2, 1. This will be the play of the game for the SBC Championship. Blakeney rolls. He fires end zone. It's up for grabs. It's gone. Touchdown. Unbelievable.
From the Highlands to the coast and everywhere in between, it's time to crank it up for the latest news, views, and insight in the world of North Carolina high school football. You're listening to the Carolina Preps CP Daily Download. Here's your host, Chris Hughes.
Hello again, everybody. Chris Hughes, CarolinaPreps.com, coming to you here going into week 9 of the 2023 high school football season. And I wanted to come on here and share a special, monumentous video cast with you this week to talk about something that I'm sure none of us have seen in our lifetimes. You know, I've been around high school football for a very long time. I can go back to the late 70s, early 80s, been around a lot of games, coached a lot of games, covered a lot of games in the media. But when it came across my phone on Friday night that Pender County defeated Hobbton by a score of 106-83. I was like, holy cow, what a high school football game. I had to learn more about it. I wanted to see the stats. I wanted to hear a little bit more about how this game transpired. So here in just a second, I'm going to bring the two head coaches from those two schools, Coach Tom Eanes from Pender, Coach Joe Salas from Hobbton, and we're going to talk a little football with them. We're going to find out how this game played out, and just kind of, I just wanted to memorialize it, it's just a momentous, kind of game. And I wanted to make sure that we put that down in history because I don't think we're going to see another one quite like it. But first, I wanted to talk a little bit about one of our sponsors here at CarolinaPreps.com, Falls Jewelers in Kannapolis and Concord, North Carolina, family-owned business. Go see our friend Sam Falls, Caleb Falls, incredible family-owned company. You got a jewelry need, your coach, you need to get out and get an engagement ring for your significant other or anything like that, go see our friends at Falls Jewelers in Kannapolis and Concord. You'll be glad you did. Here momentarily, we're going to be announcing some news and big news regarding them with our Coach of the Year award. Can't wait to get that out there to you. I think it's going to be really cool. I think you're going to want to check it out. But hey, we're going to come right back after this break. We're going to talk to Coach Joe Salas and Tom Eanes, Chris Hughes, Carolina Preps. We'll be right back. Hello again, Chris Hughes, CarolinaPreps.com, and I'm joined here by two really good friends of mine. I've known both of these gentlemen for a long time, definitely in coaching circles, coached against some of these guys. Coach Tom Eanes, you see there at the bottom, Coach Joe Salas up there in the corner. Coach, I've texted both of you individually and collectively, and this past Friday night, Tom's Pender Patriots defeated Coach Salas's Hobbton Wildcats 106-83. And what I've got to say, I've been around a lot of football in my life, has to be one of the craziest scores I've ever seen in my lifetime. And for you two gentlemen to have been a part of this, it had to be crazier for you as well. And Coach Eanes, since you guys won the game, I'm going to kind of throw it to you first. I mean, from your perspective, how did this happen? I mean, I know it was as crazy as 53-49 at the half. Did you ever imagine that you guys would be setting a state record for points in the game?
No, sir, not at all. I just knew that we were going to have to try and score to keep up with Coach Salas. They're, so potent with what they do. And so that's one thing we kept telling the kids after each score, you can't let down because they're going to come right back and they're going to get another one. So we had to try and keep the pace with them. That was the biggest thing, was just trying to get our kids to understand that, it's not, you can't take any time off because they're going to score. They were that good.
Coach Salas?
It was a fun one. Didn't expect it to go that way. We knew looking at their scheme that we'd have a chance with the wideouts that we had. But obviously didn't think that they would score 100 and we would be at 80. It was a close game until about, I guess, 5 minutes to go in the game. We threw a couple picks late and couldn't catch them. But it was exciting. It was worth, what are they paying now? $8?
I know, it's something
it was
crazy.
worth an $8 ticket. I'll tell you that.
it was probably such a good game. You guys could have probably charged another ticket on the way out the door for just the entertainment value that you guys threw out there. Really, the main reason I wanted to bring both of you guys, because again, I know your coaching styles very well. Coach Eanes has been, on the forefront of the air raid offense and spreading the ball around. I know the work that you and Coach George Coltharp have done over the years. Of course, I've worked with him, has been pretty spectacular. But on the flip side, Coach Tom Eanes, you have been, a predominant run first team, I feel like, for a long time. Did you even throw a pass in this game?
Yes, sir. We right before halftime, we threw one early for a 2-point conversion, but we tried a few right before halftime, but I think we didn't even complete any of those, so that was a useless thing to do, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that I had, some friends of mine in the media and some other coaches that sent me text messages on Friday night saying, wow, how did they score 189 points in a game? And I said, wait, if you really want to know the interesting part about it, I'm almost certain that the Patriots, that Pender County did not even throw the ball. So again, I guess it's not as surprising for a team that would throw it, but for you guys to have that success on the ground.
Well, it's just we had to do what we had to do. I was thinking more along maybe if we kept the ball for a longer period of time, we might be able to have some luck. But, we were getting in the end zone, and, of course, they were just turning around right back in the end zone on us. All week, we were worried about we couldn't simulate what they do because their receivers are so good, and I got my scout team, and it's never going to look like that. And they are one of the best passing teams I've ever seen. I mean, they really did a tremendous job.
And obviously, same as far as trying to simulate what they do in practice and not realizing how good their O-line really was and how good that fullback really was. Very physical, very fundamentally sound, and it was a fun game.
Yeah. Coach Salas, I wanted to ask you this, again, we can talk scheme, we can talk highlights, incredible players, but at the end of it all, we're still dealing with 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old young men. And what was the mindset? Like, what did you have to tell your young men, your players after the game? Yes, they scored 83 points. I'm sure that there was a lot of jubilation in that. But also, what do you tell your kids? Because I'm sure they're not exactly hanging their heads. It was an exciting game, but nonetheless, I know it's still tough to come up on the losing end.
Well, it was dark in the stadium, so we gathered together. The lights turned off. There was still, I thought there was 3 minutes left in the game. Someone said there was only a minute and a half, but we gathered them together. I told them I loved them. I told them it was a heck of a fight, and we got to go home and get better because we've got to win some games down the stretch to get a playoff seed that we want. So it was exciting, and we really felt, and I call the offense. So I really felt, we had 3 chances to take the lead in the game and didn't take the lead on any of the 3. So as crazy as it sounds, I thought it was offense needed to bear the load on that one. Defense, we came into the game, down 3 starters and then lost 2 more during the game, and we just couldn't stop them. I mean, it wasn't a scheme problem. It was we couldn't tackle them, and so offense has to step up in those situations. And when you get three chances to score, we thought it should have been 107 to 106.
Yeah. Man, I'd love to have seen that. We really would have had a story then. Nonetheless, 189 points. Coach Eanes, I think I've seen where you had like maybe 942 yards rushing in the game. That's a season for a lot of teams.
It was 912, but I mean, it was I haven't ever done it before. So, I was just talking with the offensive linemen, just trying to keep them going because that's who I coach. And we just stressed, like I said earlier, if we don't score basically every time, we'll never keep up with Coach Salas and them because they're just up and down the field. And, I got to sing their praises. I was just totally amazed. I knew watching film how good they were, but to see that quarterback put the ball on this shoulder, that shoulder. And I just thought they did a tremendous job. It's a shame that somebody had to lose, but they were very, very good.
Wow. we all have been around the game of football for an awfully long time. Coach Eanes, I know you've been a head coach in this state going back into, I think, maybe 1986. And Coach Salas, you've coached a lot of games as well. I know in my lifetime, I've never seen an offensive explosion quite like this. I know that we're starting to see a lot more points across the board in all classifications. I think I counted this past Friday alone that there was like 7 or 8 games that the winning team scored 70 points or more, which is a trend I think we're starting to see a little bit more of. My question, and I'll throw it out to either of you, do you think that this is something we'll continue to see with high-scoring games like this, or do you think that this is just an anomaly that was just, might be once in a lifetime?
I thought, with the running clock, it gets, the situation usually is not going to be as great. But so I wouldn't think it would continue that way. But, everybody's getting better at what they do offensively. And I guess it's sort of, copying the colleges. They're scoring a lot of points. So,
obviously, I think this was an outlier, but scores are going to be higher just because in the passing game, and Coach runs, a very traditional offense. He's just very good at it. But with the amount of teams that can throw it, it used to be you'd get ahead 28-7, and everyone would shut it down. You run between the tackles, you run one play, and that would be the end of it. And that's not the way it is anymore. We don't have the ability, if someone puts 7 or 8 in the box, we can't run it. We have to throw it no matter what. So, that dynamic changes the game. And so the traditional way of slowing it down and not showing someone up, it's just impossible to do anymore because, every time I get ahead, I'm worried they're going to score 3 touchdowns fast and beat us. So, it's just a different mindset than it was even 15, 20 years ago.
I agree. I keep track of every team in the state every week. I feel like I put out some very comprehensive rankings when it comes to each classification, and I've got both of your programs solidly up there in the mix, especially in Eastern North Carolina. I think there's a decent chance we could see both of you guys tangling again here in the playoffs down the road. How do you think? And Coach Eanes, I'll throw this one out to you first. If we had a rematch, I know you look at the film, you study it, coaches want to dissect this in every which way, but do you think we'd see another slugfest like we did Friday night, or how do you think a round 2 game would look?
I don't know if it would be that high. I doubt if it would be that high, but we'd have our hands full because, like I said, it's so hard to stop them. I would sit there and try and go with more people in the box, and I knew he was going to throw it, but I knew he was going to complete it too, so I couldn't stop that. And then I'd back him up a little bit, and he'd run the ball on me. So, it'd be a tough, thing to do, but, if it happens, we'll face each other and do the best we can. I'm sure neither one of us is going to change our offense, so it'll be what it is.
Yeah,
it'd be a fun playoff matchup.
It sure would be. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you getting on here. One of the main reasons I wanted to talk some football with you guys was, again, in all of our lifetimes, this is just such a monumental type of game. You just don't see scores like this. And I just wanted to create this video to throw it out there really so we could document this one in history. I think this is one that, we'll tell our grandkids about one day. If they're still playing football at the time, about just how crazy a game was, 189 points. And I just appreciate you gentlemen getting on here and talking some ball with me tonight.
Appreciate it, buddy.
All right, guys, what an interview. So happy to have Coach Joe Salas and Coach Tom Eanes on here with us. Again, 2 gentlemen that I've known for an awfully long time. These are 2, state championship level coaches. I've seen them both coaching state championship games here in recent years. What a game, 106 to 83. One of the biggest games I think I've ever seen, or craziest games I think I've ever seen. 54 to 49 at the half. Wow. What kind of high school football game is that? I'll tell you what kind it was. An exciting game, the kind of game that you want to charge admission on the way out the door because it was worth so much. Talk about the family entertainment value. Well, high school football. But anyway, guys, Chris Hughes here at Carolina Preps. So thank you for joining us here. And as always, we'll catch you next time.